Living in a city like Athens has its advantages. It's a vibrant place that never gets boring. But I would say the one thing that no one is talking about is how dirty and dusty things can get. I clean my house every couple of days. If I don't do that, everything will be covered under a thick layer of dust. Cleaning up electronics, though, is not anywhere near as frequent. That means that devices like my Synology can collect a ton of dust. I want to say that the last time I did a proper cleanup was probably 5 or 6 months ago, so it's no wonder there's so much dust in it. As you will soon find out though, this thing is ridiculously filthy. Even though the device is easy to disassemble, you can basically use just one screwdriver, it's still quite a tedious task. I can usually tell when things are getting clogged up when I check the drive stats. When there's dust inside, the middle drives run a couple of degrees hotter than normal. I warned you, this thing is dirty. So when everything's nice and clean, the drives are around 36 degrees Celsius, and when there's dust inside, they're around 38. This was definitely the perfect opportunity to clean things up since I'll be adding one more drive to the array, another 12TB drive. I should have worn a hazmat suit. Thankfully though, all of this dust is easy to get rid of, but it's definitely a lot of dust. I'm using my regular vacuum cleaner to take the bigger bulk of the dust off, and then I'm just using a regular cleaning tissue to get rid of the more persistent bits of dust. But as you can see, the vacuum does the bulk of the job. Every single side of this thing is covered in dust. Because of the big fans, it just goes everywhere, which makes me think that it might be a good time again to clean up my iMac Pro. The fans are the trickier part to clean up. This bit unfortunately is done by hand. The vacuum cleaner is just not enough. Now about the Velcro tape you see on each side of the device. Of course, it doesn't come with it. I've installed it as a way to reduce vibrations. It's a well-known hack and I think it does the job quite well. It might not be the most elegant, but I don't really care. It's not like I'm checking the insides of the device every single day. I've also installed Velcro strips on each drive tray. It might be a placebo effect, but I don't think so. When you have metal hitting metal, you will get annoying noise, and the Velcro strips take care of that. Even the disc trays have a lot of dust on them. As good as the fans are in managing the temperature, they're also a great way to move dust around. It might look like a small device, but it's heavier than it looks. The device alone is around 6 kilos, and each drive weighs a little over 600 grams. So with 5 drives in it, the device weighs more than 9 kilos. I could have also taken the drives out of the tray and cleaned them up that way, but that's a bit too excessive. I think this is more than enough. And here comes the annoying part, cleaning up the fans. The whole back of the device has to be unscrewed, and then the individual fans have to be unscrewed from the metal back and disconnected from the PCB. All this can take quite a bit of time. I could probably clean them up faster if I used water, but I would have to protect the wiring and make sure that they're dry when installing them back on, and so on and so forth. But even this basic cleanup made a world of difference. And finally, the last part is putting on some Velcro tape on the tray for the new drive. It's really just a matter of cutting up the tape and sticking it on the tray, nothing really that difficult. Installing the drive is also nothing special. We just put the drive on the tray, and the sides of the tray will snap to the holes on this side of the drive. And that's it. And with that done, it's just a matter of putting everything back together. This metallic tray is one of the reasons we get these noise vibrations, hence the need for Velcro tape around the chassis. And here it is, nice and clean. That is quite a change. And now the only thing left is to expand the volume with a new drive. The system detects the new drive, and after a couple of clicks, we can add it to the volume. And here's the annoying part with RAID systems. Adding the drive can take quite a bit of time, especially if your volume contains many big drives. Thankfully, the initial estimation of 6 days dropped down to 2. Not bad, but not great either. The good thing though is that I can still use the system to access my files. Of course, the more I hit the system's resources, the longer it will take, but yeah, it doesn't mean that I cannot do anything for 2 days. I've also adjusted the setting to prioritize rebuilding speed rather than system performance, but to be honest, I don't know if this will take any effect while the system is rebuilding. I might have had to pick that option beforehand. This is also the point where your hard drives could fail because the system is constantly accessing them in order to shuffle the data around. So if a drive is in the brink of collapse, this procedure speeds up the whole process quite a lot. But everything turned out fine in my case. After 2.5 days, the volume was successfully expanded. I now have 9 terabytes more for a total of 18 terabytes of free space. If you're interested in my setup, I'll have the product links in the description below. The drives are from Western Digital's Red Plus series. The Red line is specifically built for NAS systems, and the Plus category is capped at 5400 RPMs. It's slower than the Red Pro's 7200 RPMs, but my Synology is not locked up in a closet somewhere, so dealing with noisy drives is not an option. Transfer speeds though are not slow by any means. Because it's a RAID system, the speed is not dependent on one drive, so I can easily transfer files around 400 to 500 megabytes per second. If you want to learn how I set up my system, I have a whole video about it, so if you're interested, make sure to check that out too. And I think that's about it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one.